Today, I'm going to show you what a first-class overnight train in Ukraine looks like. This way, this way, this way! Ah! Is that really how it works? We're starting here in Tatara, which is in the Carpathian Mountains, and we're leaving here about 2:45. We're getting into Kiev around 6:45, making it a 16-hour long train ride. Since I have all this time, in this video, I'm gonna give you some information about the tickets for overnight trains. I'm gonna show you what the inside of a first-class cabin on an overnight train looks like, and I'm gonna give you some tips and best practices so that you can enjoy an overnight train to the max. So while we're waiting for the train to come, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about how to read your ticket so that the boarding process is pretty easy for you. This is your departure station and your arrival station, as well as your departure date and time and your arrival date and time, which hopefully you already know, actually. This is our train number and our wagon number. So we're looking for wagon or carriage number 5 on train 358. Both these numbers are on a sign in the window of the wagon when they come in. The wagon number is the big number on the sign. And then this is my place, my seat number, or in this case, because it's an overnight train, my bed number.
Do you reckon this is okay, babe?
Yeah, probably. It's always a bit nerve-wracking when you're waiting for your train and you're like, where is it gonna stop? Am I close to my carriage or not? Otherwise you have to run. I don't want to run with all of this stuff. Moment of truth. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna go that way. This way, this way, this way. Ah!
Dobry dzień.
Dobry dzień.
Дев'яте бачу і 10 бачу. Заходьте, будь ласка. У вас напої, 2 напої. Чай, кофе, кофе або водичка. В будь-яке время до мене підходьте.
Ага, дякую.
Тобто ви щось вибираєте, говорите, я вам приношу. Напів 9-10.
I also got stuck. I can't get through. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. So we're moving already. We've I'm not even in the cabin yet. So that shows you just how short the stops are. What a first-class cabin on an overnight train in Ukraine looks like. So you have 2 beds in first-class cabins. They're about the same size as second-class cabins, but those have 4 people. So of course you have more space and are more comfortable in a first-class cabin. They're also twice as expensive. So you've got your bed. There is a small mattress on top of the cushion. You've got 2 pillows. And you've got a sheet. They also give you towels and some hand wipes as well, which is nice, but you should bring your own hand sanitizer or hand wipes as well. The blanket that comes on the couch, and there's actually even more blankets. You have lots of little lights by your bed. Did it work? It worked a minute ago. I don't know why it's not working now. Okay, and some lights there. No allow smoking in the cabin, but people do it between the cars, so you should get out at the station to do it. The door slides shut. You can use this little thing up here to lock it. Oh, push that in to unlock it. There we go. We only have one outlet, but we both have external batteries, so this is not going to be too much of a problem for us today. You also get a bottle of water. This one is still, sometimes you get sparkling. Loads of storage up here above the door. They've got blankets up there. You can put suitcases up there. You've also got lots of storage under your bed. So you see you have space that you can just slide things. You also have more secure storage down here. You just lift up the bed and you can put things in there for more secure storage. This is actually, I would say, an older train. Often you'll have like up here, you'll have like outlet, well, one outlet. That will be where your one outlet is, but that will also be like little buttons. That's where the light switch will be. There'll be like lights to show you if the toilets are free or not. So this is a little bit of an older train, and I never know when I get on a train what it's gonna look like inside, except if you find an overnight train that is significantly cheaper than like all the other overnight trains, that is a old train. So if the average ticket price is like 1,400 hryvnia and you find one for like 700 hryvnia, don't book that one. It's gonna be old, rickety, the AC might not work very well. We know this from personal experience. And the first class cabins in the overnight trains do have air conditioning. It only works when the train is moving. So if you are getting onto the train where the train starts from, don't board too early, because you don't want to be like 20 minutes in your cabin just sweating, waiting for the AC to turn on when the train starts. I also know that from personal experience. It's not the strongest AC ever, but I'm definitely cooling down now. None of the Ukrainian overnight trains I've ever been on have had restaurant cars, and usually Ukrainians just bring their own food on the overnight trains. So since this is such a long train, we've brought some snacks and we're doing dinner later. We actually stopped at a local brewery before we left Mokolchin, which is where we were staying, and we got pork jerky, which is really good. What's the name of the brewery we were staying at? I mean, that we stopped at. It's like Hosotskaya Brewery in Mokolchin.
Hosotski?
From Hotsol, which is an ethnic group in the Carpathians. So we got this pork jerky, which is really good, but I'm not gonna eat it on camera because it's really tough. One of my favorite Ukrainian things, sirkasichka, which is smoked cheese, like shredded smoked cheese. It's really good. This I will eat on camera. It's so salty though, so you really need something to drink with it.
There you go.
Let's go check out the toilet. Like I've mentioned, this is not the most modern train I've been on. Someone's already trying to get in. But I'll show you kind of around the toilet. This is the toilet. Now, you flush it by stepping on the lever right here. The sink works by putting your finger under this little tab here and pressing up. You can control the temperature here, but this is how the sink works. Don't drink the water, it's for washing your hands only. The things that are here for you to hold on to and steady yourself are actually really useful, okay? Normally what I do with my toiletries is I try and bring a bag that will like hook on. Hooking on bags are a lot easier to deal with than like other kinds of bags that you have to set down on the counter, because those get really wet and messy. It's fine, it functions. It's not luxurious, but it functions, you know? There is drinking water right outside the toilet near the Polonitsa's quarters. If you want, I would still filter it. Sometimes they will lock the toilet before and after the station for a few kilometers. So that's why it's good to know that the timetable is outside in the hallway. You can check when you're gonna stop at stations, and you can plan your toilet stops appropriately. Are we moving in already? We stopped for like 2 minutes. I don't even think that was a 2-minute stop. I don't know if we're behind schedule maybe or something, but... Out in the hallway, you actually have the train schedule. So it started in Kharkiv, we got on at Tatarov, and it's going all the way up to Kiev. And that's the arrival time. And you can see here actually how long the stop duration is in each of these places. Wait 3 minutes to get on. Arrival, departure. Okay, so let's talk about some of my best advice for taking the overnight train in Ukraine. First of all, definitely bring some food. Even if you're not on the train for 16 hours like we are, it's still a nice idea to have some snacks. Like I said, I've never seen any sort of restaurant car in a Ukrainian train, and so you just don't want to be hungry. In Ukrainian, the name for the stewards of the cabin are provodniks if they're men, and provodnitsas if they're women. They're usually pretty nice, even though they often don't speak English, but you're gonna have the conversations that you expect to have with the train steward. So they'll check your tickets when you get on. They will tell you they'll remind you which cabin you're in, which seats you have. If you have a paper ticket, which we prefer to have paper tickets, they'll take the paper ticket and then return it in the morning. We prefer to have paper tickets just because it's one less thing to worry about as you get on the train. You can totally have your ticket on your phone, but then you're fiddling with your phone and you've got 3 minutes to get on the train, and it's just a lot to be dealing with. So we like to have the paper ticket, give it to them with their ID, they check it, they tell us which cabin we're in, and that's that. It's actually pretty simple. Wear some comfortable clothes, but I would advise against flowy clothes because of the toilet situation. Cell phone service is going to be pretty spotty between the cities, so don't count on being able to connect, do work, watch YouTube videos, stream music, things like that. It's a nice idea, especially if you're a light sleeper, to bring an eye mask and earplugs. I found that those are useful in getting to sleep, even if my earplugs fall out in the middle of the night, especially if your cabin mate snores. Like some of my cabin mates have done in the past or present. In addition to food, bring extra water. We brought extra water. We already drank it. I'm already halfway through the water that they gave us. It's 8 o'clock maybe. I'm still thirsty. So yeah, you want to bring water or a filter. You can get hot water, which we'll show you at dinner time because we're going to use that to make our dinner. But in terms of drinking water, you'll probably want more than they provide in the first class cabins. So our tickets today cost 1,400 hryvnia per person, which is $52.47, which is a pretty good deal considering we're on this train for 16 hours and we're going a really big distance. I didn't look at the kilometers before we got on. Today we decided to go with instant noodles and use the hot water that you can get on the train to make them.
Now we're going to the hot water. Hopefully this is not a big fail. Все? Спасибо большое.
Smashno, as they say in Ukraine before a meal. It looks really hot still, actually. Good morning from the overnight train. We're Kiev. We got like less than 10 minutes until we get there. The Provenitsa came around about half an hour before our arrival and like knocked on the door and woke us up. I think we missed the moment to order coffee though, so unfortunately no coffee this morning on the train, which is too bad because they come in cute little cups. Overall, I would say this wasn't the best night of sleep I've ever had on an overnight train. The temperature kept fluctuating, though I feel like the ride was pretty smooth. But still, using the overnight train in Ukraine is a great way to get around from place to place because it is a really big country. So I hope you enjoyed this video about overnight train travel in first class in Ukraine, and if you have any questions, please just leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. You've got this table here, which is really useful, and I almost always use the table for snacks and things like that. But if you want more like leg space, usually is that really how it works? There's gotta be something else. Well, you can move it out of the way. On other trains I've been on, they've actually like folded down. Alright, you can play with your table.
How good do you think this slow-mo's gonna look?
Slow-mo?
I mean, the speedway.
I don't know, we'll see. That'd be funny if it is slow-mo.